Hello, everybody. This is Bart Sharp, and you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 103.5, broadcasting out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And we are also on Roku, Facebook, YouTube, the W the UPRN Talk Radio website.com, and various other places on the internet. And yes, I am still in France. And if you've been watching my shows, I have been traveling around in different places, different locations. No, it's never really good to get too predictable with life in general. So I'm just having a good time getting lost, driving up a hill, trying to get to the home of Jacques Chapoutot.
Yes, very good, Bart.
Close. I got it. And so we're all kind of in an adventure mode tonight. And this is a show that is an adventure mode. Last week we had Penny Loftus, and if you were there, you knew that it was definitely on the edge of becoming quantum conscious beyond in ancient Egypt. And tonight it is very much the same thing with the show. I'm just going to plug it up here. Global Human Frequency and the Birth of a New Species. When Jacques told me about this topic and described it to me, I just knew this is going to be a wild night. Welcome to the show, Jacques.
Yeah, welcome to. Thank you to welcome me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Jacques was on the show before.
And great to be with all of you guys.
Yeah. And Jacques is a human design analyst and teacher. He's one of the oldest teachers in France, taught in Paris, but also now is worldwide like so many people these days. You can get human design counseling, charts, analysis from one of the old pros. Did I call you old? No, I won't call you old.
Yeah, old in all senses of the term.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to fight it myself. Don't call me old. Don't call me elder. Don't call me grandpa.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it. It's my issue. So, human design, can you just give us a brief description about, in just plain words, what it's about?
Yeah, human design is a wonderful way of understanding oneself. It's the science of differentiation. It tells you out of a graphic, it tells you what you really are. What are your potentials? What are you in this life for? What's your destiny? Now, this system has been uncovered in the late 80s and developed in the 90s. And since then, it's getting worldwide famous all around, including in France, in Europe, of course, in the US. It's getting really famous. Human design, I would say almost everybody knows about what is human design. Now, it's not the same thing as astrology because it refers to different sciences and knowledges, ancient wisdoms like the chakra system, like the Kabbalah. Astrology is also there. So it's a synthesis of these old knowledges. There are four old wisdoms connected to two sciences, genetics and astrophysics. Now, this blend of wisdom bring out from your birth data a chart. In that chart, analysts are trained to read your chart, and they can tell you in a very, very precise way, very detailed way, and very exact way what you really are, what is yourself, what are all your genius, your unicity, because you're a unique being. And knowing what you really are is something which is tremendously important for yourself, for your relationship. But more than that, it's as much important to understand what you are not, what you have been conditioned to be or to become. And this is a specifics of human design to be able to let you understand clearly, this is what I am truly, and this is what I am not. And I don't need to become that. They want me to become this, or that, and not to be that, like that. Here is what I am. And if I follow the natural laws of my human design, that means if I follow the strategy and the authority, we call that strategy and authority in human design, if you follow yours, then you realize that your life gets completely fluid, effortless. Everything comes exactly on purpose at the right time, at the right moment. And you don't need to bother to control and to do things. Your emotional system can really develop in a harmonious way. Your vital energy can really expand and thrill in what you're doing. You get recognition, you get peace, you get satisfaction, you get love. It's just a question of understanding that this vehicle you're in, that human design is describing as a graphic, energetical graphic, this body of yours is tremendously intelligent, and it has rules to be followed.
And that's a great analysis or description of the personal path that you can take, but also human design, from what I've understand from you, it has more of a worldwide perspective. In other words, being able to tell some of the things that can possibly come up as we progress as a human species.
Yes, and before we launch into that, let me please pay a heartful tribute to two beings. One was alive, he's dead now, he was a human. And one was, we don't know exactly, we call it the voice. And these two beings, without them, I wouldn't be there to talk to you about human design, and all the human design specialists would not be there because there would not be any human design. So these two beings, the voice and its messenger, a Canadian-born Alan Robert Krakover, his title was Ra-Uruhu, the one who ends the cycle. And this is very important because this is the topic we are going to go into now. So, heartful tribute to these two because they bring something which is so important to us right now in what we are living in our day-to-day life.
Maybe that's if anybody's watching on this and we're having some technical problems, we may blip on and off. We've been experiencing that. But if you notice in the screen in the very back of the room, up at the top where the ceiling and the wall meet is an orb. And maybe and it won't ever go away. Maybe that's Robert Uhuru.
Maybe that's him. We don't know his spirit. Anyway. Okay. let's get down to business, into this human global cycle. What is that all about? To introduce the topic, let me take a picture. It's a kind of frightening picture, but truly, I have to say that this is the situation we all are in, wherever we are on the planet. Imagine you are sitting in your living room in a house of in a flat of a building, and that building is undergoing an earthquake. There is an earthquake. Everything is shaking. Everything is shaking, and you try to get safe here, there, and there's no way. All is completely shaking. Now, the earthquake, the whole of humanity is living right now, according to human design. That earthquake, you don't see it, you don't feel it, you don't hear it, but it's very, very, very deep. And that earthquake, whatever we are trying to do to save ourselves, there's no way to save ourselves. And it's very, very important to understand that the only way we can go through safely that earthquake and its consequences is that we find our inner center. And this is why human design speaks of strategy and authority. The tools, the practical tools you can use every day to find what is your truth in this world where everything is falling down. What is this human design, this human global frequency? When a baby gets born, immediately, the moment it gets out, here they are, mama, perhaps papa is there also. There is, of course, the nurse, perhaps the doctor is also there. There are 3, 4 people. Now, this fetus that is now out is a newborn. He is already surrounded by people. What does it mean? This baby is born with very specific qualities. And these qualities make that he is, or it is, a perfect being. Unique being.
So is this every child is the
Every child.
when they first start? Okay.
Gets with this these components that make of him a unique and perfect and genius being. Now, there is this environment of the nurse, doctor, mama, papa. What happens? What happens when you put 3, 4, 5 people together? It happens that 3, 4, 5 humans, when they meet together, they generate a collective consciousness. We call it in human design a penta consciousness. Now, that consciousness, you don't see it, you don't smell it. But fact is that this consciousness starts to operate the people, the individuals of the group it is made of. And you can't avoid this. It's not that you can say, no, I don't want. Every time you have three, minimum 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, you get a field of consciousness, and that field of consciousness has its own issues, which are not the issues of you as individual. The issues of a penta are very materialistic, very materialistic. They are oriented to the survival and the success, financial, material success of the group. Now, our newborn, mama, papa, take him, bring him to the house. Newborn doesn't know that he has a brother or sister. Arrives there and discover, oh, there is a brother, oh, there is a sister with mama and papa that I know already. What happens? It happens that the newborn gets into another collective consciousness. You know, the geometry of this penta consciousness is not the same as it was with the doctor and the nurse. Why? Just because these two people are energetically different. So let's cut short the story to get the picture that we, as individual humans, unique, perfect, genius, we are not given the chance to be genius, unique, because there is the conditioning of energies or forces around us. That is the family, that is the city, that is the town, this is the nation.
So are you
This
saying
is the world.
So you're saying that as a child gets into these groups, almost like a part of his individuality gets disseminated
Yes.
or split apart.
It gets under the influence of other stronger forces around it, and it has to adapt, it has to adjust, it has to conform with this and that. He has to obey these rules and all that. Now, when we put that to the whole world, we get a collective consciousness, a human species collective consciousness. Now, when we speak of global human frequency, this is what we are talking about. There is, and there always has been, a global frequency which is very silently, very efficiently, very powerfully ruling the human consciousness of any and every human being, whether we want it, we accept it, we say yes, no, it's there. We belong to that human global frequency. Cats are belonging to another cat global frequency, etc. Now, what's getting interesting now is that this global frequency, it changes from time to time. Life is evolution. So there are moments where the human global frequency shifts. And that happens every 412 years, according to human design. Every 412 years. Last time that global frequency came out, it was in 1615, so the very beginning of the 17th century. And that frequency carries with it forces, very strong forces, forces of around the community, forces around the capacity to be focused and determined and to develop skills. Now, we call it in human design technically the cross of planning. Now, that cross of planning started in 1615 and for 412 years have been giving the deep framing of human consciousness and the evolution of humanity. Look what happened since that time. We came from, let's say, we had some villages, some towns, some countries which were already existing, for example, in Europe and all that. We came now to the moon. We have satellites that are running around us. We have flights around here. We have developed everything, internet and all that. All this is organization. What comes into my plate when I eat in the day? Maybe there are 10% of that which comes from my garden or from the neighborhood around, the local. All the rest, that comes from perhaps 500 kilometers. If I eat a mango, it comes from 10,000 kilometers. Guess what? How that is possible that this mango is now here and I eat it while it was born perhaps in Kenya or whatever? Just because organization, all the organization everywhere, the hospitals, the police, the army, every society has developed with this impetus and this determination to put details, to go into the details of organizing everything. Imagine what is needed to have the connection we have right now when we are talking live.
So the question I have is like, how does that affect that one individual? It just sounds like you get over separated, over divided.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure it's part of the evolution of consciousness to do that. However, it sounds a bit frightening.
It's frightening, and we can all feel that something is dying. That frequency is losing its power. That frequency that sustained for 412 years almost, sustained organization, efficiency, etc., all this force is slowly vanishing. And it started already since long time, since 30, 40, 50 years. It started. And we are now getting to the end of that cycle of 412 years with that cross of planning. And in 2027, that's not even in 2 years from now, there is a shift. There is the shift of this frequency. Now that frequency will be and has started actually to come up and grow. In human design, we call it the cross of the sleeping phoenix. Now, that energy, that frequency, remember that frequency is operating us, whether we like it or not. It operates us all humans on a global scale. Now, that frequency is starting to rise, and the other frequency is getting lower and lower. One is rising, the other one is going down. So we are exactly in the middle of this.
And this is caused by this division or this separation of all the people interacting, but also other components contribute with that, like astrology.
Well, human design says that, you know, these global cycles of 412 years, they are like a mechanism. So you cannot change it. And I would inverse. It's because there is this shift that we are getting divided, the ones with the others and all that. And it's very, very interesting to understand that this cross of planning, old frequency, which is vanishing slowly now, it was all for the family. It was all for the community. It was all for the bargain. You know, basically, the individual was facing this how to say this this situation. You work for us, and in return, we care for you. Yeah? This is bargain. And as long as you follow that, you're safe. Now,
doesn't sound like now.
Yeah. Huh?
Doesn't sound like today's world.
Now look at what's happening now. And you say it doesn't sound like what we're living now, for sure, because the cross of the phoenix is all for the individual. Nothing to do, almost nothing to do with the community, with the family, with all these things, the individual. But watch out. When I say the individual, it's not the ego. It's not the ego. It's not me. It's I. It's a new spirit that is starting to dawn. A new spirit of all the individual qualities that have to be recognized. And for sure, since 30, 40 years, look at how much the trends of people to express themselves, to be recognized as individual, how much it has developed.
So the I would be even beyond that selflessness. That's part of that evolution, but it starts to get into something a little more interesting than that. And before you say anything, we're at midpoint of the show. And we are listening to Jacques Chapoutot. Chapoutot. You can find Jacques at jacqueschapoutot.eu. Human design, one of the elder members of human design of France. He would be a human design analyst, does private sessions, but also is a great student of the topic, and he's going into some of the more challenging and interesting predictions of human design in the second half of the show. But before he unravels this really cool mystery, I'd like to tell you that you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious. My name is Bart Sharp. You're on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. right at 107.7 and 103.5 FM out of New Orleans, Louisiana. So, where do we go next in 2027?
Oh, so plenty of things that are happening there. Just remember that you've got inside of yourself all the intelligence that is necessary for you as an individual to cross over, to go through the period we are living in. And this period is and will still be very, 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 chaotic. Because these forces, these two main forces, it's the time for one to die and for the other one to wake up. So we are all pushed into going individual. A new spirit is growing and is dawning for us all. And that new spirit is not made of religion. It's made of life itself. And that spirit, when it really gets into us, will transform the way communities are functioning. It won't be anymore that the individual will be serving the group. It will be that the group will recognize that every individual is a genius. Like in a bouquet, every flower is specific, unique.
Is this something similar that when you were talking earlier, when a child first comes into the world, they are an infinite genius?
Yes.
Are we coming back to
Yes.
that, but it's kind of sticking in place, so to speak?
You can recover what is yours, the treasuries that life put in you, like this story where there are these how you call that, the phase, these beings that are giving the newborn some presents, put that into the basket. Well, life did the same. You have so many talents inside of you, and these talents, it's time that they are not anymore hampered or blocked.
So you're talking about that there's a lot of talents and abilities that we have as potentials that we never utilize.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the more we're getting into the psychic world and stuff, this is a big topic of conversation. Like, we know they're there, and more people, they're starting to emerge.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're saying is they're going to be much more full on, like that, right at birth.
Yeah, because and this is introducing to our other topic now, with a new species that is coming, because life has already, it's only my opinion, life has already started the solution of the problems we cannot solve in our societies. It has become so complicated to manage our societies. Life has already introduced something new. It has introduced a new species. From 1781 until 2027, a mutation occurred. Now, mutations are a natural process in life. Mutations happen everywhere, and it's normal because life is evolution. And the fact is that with this global cycle, we are, you, me, we are the end of the cycle. We have reached the climax. These bodies, these intelligences have reached the climax of evolution in this form. like these prokaryote cells, when each one of them got filled, their membrane got filled with receptors, they couldn't evolve anymore. Read the book of Bruce Lipton, Biology of Beliefs. This is a fantastic book. It tells you at a time, billions of years from now, each prokaryote cell couldn't evolve anymore because its membrane was full with receptors. So what did life? The life process didn't end and everybody didn't die, but there is a transformation. And the transformation was that the life put 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 prokaryote cells together to create the first eukaryote cells. And we are just organisms with 60,000 billions of cells.
So when you're kind of full of those receptors and you're getting to that max point, and this has characteristics with a lot of other psychic phenomena. So I'll just compare the two. Things feel flat. You feel like you're not moving forward. You feel stuck. And of course, this is on a much bigger picture. And then a kaboom happens.
What happens?
Change. A kaboom.
Oh,
Big
yeah, change. Change must come.
I guess kaboom is not a French term, I guess.
No, I don't know that term. But we are at the end of the evolution. And what is happening, according to human design and this voice, what is happening is that a new species is coming out. And it's coming out like it happened between Neanderthal and Homo sapiens. We are the climax of Homo sapiens, but now we are the past. And what is coming with the newborns, some newborns from 2027, here, there, everywhere in the world, what's happening is that we are getting to a new species. Of course, our species, the humans we are like now, we won't die, like Neanderthal didn't die suddenly, but there will be coexistence between this old and this new species. And this, of course, will bring children with which will have no contact at all with our human species because they're not interested. Now, it looks like threatening, and this is why we need to get prepared in case this happens. That parents, when they get these kinds of children, well, they will be totally, how to call that?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, but in the not in the nice sense of it, because you see, these children, when they come out, we call them in human design, we call them the rave species that is coming. And these children, first, let me say that they won't come out of the blue. There is a mutation, and that mutation is happening in the histidine codon. A codon is a triplet of 3 amino acids. Now, we have in our genetic code 64 codons. One of these, the codon histidine, is in the process of mutating, and this is, according to human design, why we get, for example, autism. One of the consequences is autism, and we know that autist people are very, very sensitive, very intelligent people. Now, the species that is coming will be even way more than the autist people. They will have very bad eye seeing. They will
Eyesight.
have a thick skin because their skin will not anymore be what is separating them from the other. You, me, our skin is the limit of what we are, our body. And then it's the other, it's the rest. Now, for them and for the autistic children, for example, we know that their skin is very, very sensitive. It can actually be taken as a perceptive organ. They feel the energies around them and they can read very clearly who is around, what is the humor, what is what are the thoughts of the people. Now, autistic people, they are known to have this very strong sensitivity and also to have very little emotion capacities.
And at the same time, there's new groups that are starting to come out with autistics that they are psychically going to a place in another dimension called the hill, and they operate in the back of their head, in the top of the back of their head, in a place of a center that we do not operate from. However, if you do meditations and activations, you might start working on this back area at the top of your head to help it evolve. I do, and I find that my emotional world is getting much, much quieter because that's one of the qualities when that opens and evolves. Boom, you start getting more like their ability to travel astrally, or I don't know if you call it astral. They just automatically connect to this place.
Remember me at the end of the show to give our audience this this source of a book, which is absolutely The First Men. It's absolutely fascinating because in the 60s, someone really got the vision of what could happen now in 2027. I mean, he put that into a story.
Let's not hold that to the end of the show. Who was this person?
Huh?
Who was this
person?
Yeah.
Howard Fast. Howard Fast wrote. It was a novel, but it was written like a news report, you know, very, very factual, very precise, and all that about wild children and all that. I mean, I really recommend you all to Google The First Men, and you can have the PDF and read this. This is just exactly in a story telling what are going to be these rave children.
Yes, and it's called The First Men by Howard Fast. Okay,
exactly.
All right.
It's good that you say it that people understand.
We're having blips in and out of this our connection, and we're not for sure what the situation is, but we're trudging ahead and finishing this amazing story. So tell us about this, Jacques, because we have got about 10 minutes. What are these kids going to be like when they come onto the world in 2027?
Okay, that's a very important question, and thank you to ask this question, because parents will have to, to know and to recognize the signs. These babies, these newborns, they won't be expressing any life. They will just be flat. They will be there, they will be alive, and we're gonna have to feed them because they won't do anything. They won't cry, they won't do anything to get food. By the time they are about 8-9 months, a normal child, and that will be one of the surest way to recognize such a rave child. A normal child around 8-9 months of age, if I remember correctly, cannot at the same time swallow food and breathe.
Mm.
So there is something, because it's due to the moving of the larynx, that is not allowing the newborn, the baby at 8-9 months of age, to be able to do both at the same time before he can do it. Now these rave children, even when they are 1-2 years of age, they are swallowing and at the same time breathing. That will be one thing. Their skin will be very thick. They will be very sensitive. They won't be moving at all. They will have bad eyes, sight. These are signs you can start to recognize. We can assume they will be very quickly institutionalized because no one will know what to do with them, and they have to stay alive. Now, this is their chance. This is their chance. Because when they will be institutionalized, and there are 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, what will happen when they are in the same room? Within hours, no one will be anymore able to approach them. What happened? When they are, remember the story of this collective consciousness, when you put 3, 4, 5 people together, it creates something, it creates an entity. And that entity, that psychic entity, is very, very powerful. Now that entity, when there's 3, 4, 5 rave children will be together, that entity will operate them and will secure them. That's why no human being will be able to get near to them. How will they manage to survive? No one has an idea. But these ones are going to be the future human species.
Almost as if the energetic field will start to develop something else, but we don't know what that is at this point.
And this is why the novel, Howard Fast novel, is really fascinating, because he gives pictures of what that can become. Now, it will be different because these children will not communicate at all with us, and we won't be able to do anything for them.
Mm.
We won't be able to do anything. We won't understand anything of them. The only thing we can do is be right in ourselves. That means we follow our strategy, our authority, we obey the rules of our own vehicle. So we are at the right place at the right moment. And then whatever happened, whatever we are doing, this will be the right thing. But for these children, that will be their time, and that will be something completely different. And remember, that will happen in this new frequency called the Phoenix, the cross of Phoenix. That means a highly individual, energized frequency, where everybody will have to care for oneself first. We are at the time where gurus, masters, outer authority is fading away. You've got to find your own inner authority.
This is a word that a lot of people are using these days called sovereignty.
Sovereignty.
That you learn that inner self, that inner power. And maybe these children will be able to teach us. Maybe the advanced people, the autistics, will teach us things. Maybe things. It reminds me a lot of the extraterrestrial consciousness, that they are part of a collective. And personally, I don't want to take a backseat to any of that. I want to learn from those experiences.
Point is like for autism, they won't have any emotional system. Don't expect some kind of affection, tenderness, or exchange of love with them. That won't function that way for them. It doesn't function so well with autism. I mean, so it can happen that they have contact, but certainly not on the emotional way as we know it, as humans as we are. So it will, these times are really getting odd, really odd times we are living, and all the reference points that we have had so far, there it's the time for them to dissolve. And when they dissolve, what's left? What's left is you. What's left is your heart. What's left is what it's inside there. That's why it's absolutely urgent that you care for that part inside of you which holds your direction, and that's where you have your inner authority, your sovereignty.
Which goes back to the human design model of knowing yourself to where you're very strong on your path and you create your own security and well-being that creates your own sovereignty and autonomy.
If I may end my part here in the sense of reminding what I was saying earlier, is that we are in a gray zone since already 20, 30 years, and perhaps for 20 more years, we are in a gray zone where it's like, you know, dawn or dusk. Light is coming, but it's faint and there is darkness. And then there is a light and less darkness. So this gray zone is a very dangerous zone because it's a very chaotic zone. And I would wish, I mean, guys, if you're interested into that, I would really encourage you to send Bart and the people of the show, to send them a request. Please, we want to know more about that gray zone, because this is where we are in our life and where we need to really know how to cross that time.
Yes, and this information of the future is a good, like a light to follow, that you can follow into and direct yourself. It's not a time to be in fear at all.
No.
We've got just a couple of minutes. I want to tell everybody that you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious. I am Bart Sharp at United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 103.5 FM out of New Orleans, Louisiana. We have Jacques Chapoutot at jacqueschapoutot.eu. You can get guidance, counseling, analysis, and human design with Jacques. And got a minute left.
Yeah, human design. If you're interested, there are many websites in English websites, American websites, where you can also get really great information. HumanDesignAmerica.com, for example. Go to jovianarchive.com. That's the original website of the founder, and you will get plenty of information about all these what we've been talking now. I really encourage you to do that. Of course, if you want to contact me, humandesignforyou.com. humandesignforyou.eu is the website where you can reach me, and we can continue that.
We have less than 1 minute left. Can you give us 30 seconds of sound advice for the future?
Love yourself. Truly love yourself. From the deepest of your heart. You're the most brilliant architecture life created. Don't spoil it in being not self. Be yourself. Be what you truly are.
That's beautiful. Thanks everybody for being on the show.
Thank you much.
Next week we have Gina Starbuck, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.